I'm Supermoon Tarot, and back by popular demand and now a monthly installment, we will be answering love predictions. What happens next? Guys, I am so pumped that you wanted this to become a monthly thing as much as I did, because when it comes to relationships, they're always beginning, ending, evolving. Sometimes you're excited to hear about the promise of its longevity, you want to better understand your partner, and maybe you're just waiting to hear back and see how it works out. You see what I'm saying? There's like an evolution thing going on here, and so it is necessary to talk about it regularly because everyone's love life is always changing from month to month. Now, I was thinking about that today. When it comes to love, there's a lot of feelings involved. If you're happy, you're in a good place, your excitement can kind of become overwhelming. Your energy is surging, so to speak. And if you are in a difficult position in your relationship and you're kind of, starting to feel the sense of tension and worry, both are different forms of uncomfortable forms of energy. It's just an overwhelming feeling. So I thought, before we pick whatever card group you feel like you resonate with most, let's all take a moment and just breathe in real deeply, let our mind go blank, let it out, wait a second, and then pick the group you feel like resonates with you most. Let's bring us all down to the same calm, tranquil place. So breathe in. And out. Now pick the group that you connect with most. I'll give you another couple moments to do that. Now that you have, I hope you feel better after that breath. Down in the description below is your designated group with the timestamp marked so you can skip to that group. But let's get started with group number one. Group number one, let's look at your love predictions and find out what happens next. Let's look at the cards. Oh, and before I get into this, I live in nature, and currently right now, squirrels are just kind of hanging out in the local area, and they're very loud. I'm so sorry if you hear them. I can't really do anything about it. Hopefully when I edit the sound in this, you won't really hear them too much. Anyway, so let's look at your oracle card. Movement card, upright. Your tarot cards are Page of Wands, upright. Seven of Swords, upright. Five of Swords, upright. Ace of Wands, upright. Knight of Wands in reverse. And the Fool card in reverse. I think I'm gonna need to pull some more cards to better understand what's going on here. Give me a second to just do that, because I need to understand. This is pretty conflicting going on here. Two of Swords in reverse, okay. Cool, the confusion just continues. The High Priestess upright. What? The Strength card upright. Let's see if we get some better clues over here. Seven of Swords, the Star card. What? The King of Wands upright. Here's the real question. How many cards am I gonna have to pull before I understand this? Okay, let's see if this is the winner. Six of Swords upright. Okay, let me just look at what's going on real quick just to see. Okay. Okay, so I think I understand what's going on, but it's still, this is probably one of the most difficult readings I've had in a very long time. I think just because things aren't really simple and explainable. A lot of the time when I read tarot for people, I can understand their motivations and what, activated what and why people are the way they are and so on and so forth. But we kind of have a lot of conflicting things going on, which is really, well, it's interesting. That's why I love doing tarot. I love the challenge. So let's talk about the Ace of Wands upright. This is the kind of beginning of your relationship. This is an important spark about it. This refers to you guys being very physically attracted to each other. You think the other one is hot, and there is a wonderful connection there. I can see in the Strength card, you guys talking about bedroom activities are going well as well, which is awesome. Here's the thing though. We have the Five of Swords upright. This is when people are fighting in almost a borderline revenge kind of fashion. Often this pops up when people start fighting in a verbal sense that's very below the belt, kind of personal. You see what I'm saying? And I mean, well, let's just say when you have these two sort of intense energies coming at each other, you can expect there to be some sort of explosion. But this is where it starts to get confusing. I guess I can, no, let's just talk. I'm sorry, I'm trying to order this. Apologies. So I wanted to understand what is going wrong here that we have something so positive in connection. What would cause this fight? We understand what the fuel is, but what is the actual, topic at hand? So the Two of Swords in reverse talks about the other person, this partner of yours, has already made their decision. They know what they're going to do. You can't change their mind. Sometimes this can often refer to a stubborn kind of quality. But then here is the contradiction. The High Priestess directly talks about how the two of you agree. You have a mutual agreement. So it's like they've made their decision, but you agree with that decision. And then it gets more confusing because I was like, well, what's this decision they've made, but you both agree, but you're fighting about it? You see what I'm saying? We have over here the Strength card upright. This refers to a positive interaction between the two of you in the bedroom. Both of you agree, it's a good time, and you're happy about it. Why would that cause revenge? Do you see what I'm saying? It gets confusing. Now, some of this makes a little bit of sense when it talks about the fighting and inspiration between the two of you guys. So over here, the Fool card talks about personal gratification. Somebody in the relationship, more specifically the other person, is really kind of only focused on what can give them happiness right now. And especially with all these surrounding wand cards, we can see their main focus is that sort of passion you guys share between the two of you. They're really focused on it. And the Knight of Wands in reverse and the Fool card in reverse talk about a concern about coming off, like putting off any type of vibes that would ask you to create some sort of a promise or commitment. So they're afraid to promise or commit to anything or even look at anything or create any sort of vibe that would make you think they're promising sort of commitment. So it seems very anti-commitment. And that could have been the fight. But it's like, there's a problem, someone's being selfish in the relationship, but you both can kind of just agree that it is, you want to keep seeing each other because the attraction's there. But then this is when the things get a little more confusing, but then we end up coming to a nice solid answer at the end, which is really nice. So the Seven of Swords talks about some form of secret they're keeping from you. I can't quite tell if you're aware they're keeping this secret. Normally I would read this card as, no, you don't know that they're keeping this secret. But Spirit's making me feel like you've been picking up on it. You're not fully, you're aware something's a little off. And you're not quite even sure what it is or if they're even being secretive. But there's a secret being kept for you. Now, so normally secrets aren't good. But with the Star card, this implies that actually what seems rough now will actually turn out to benefit you guys in the long term. It's kind of like unexpected change. So this isn't a bad secret being kept from you. And possibly was a part of the potential fighting, because over here you would understand the sort of fire between you guys to feel worried if you felt like they were drawing away from you, pulling away from you, being selfish. And if they're being secretive, that almost implies they don't want to be with you, some sort of disconnect. But it almost implies, no, it's going to be okay. What you think is going on isn't actually happening. Does that make sense? Okay, so moving forward. Now, the Page of Wands is a little bit more of like what to do going forward, and we'll go over with that with the movement card. So the King of Wands over here in the upright position, the important thing to take note of him is this little salamander down in the corner. Now, normally in this card, the salamander would be eating its tail. And this is a sort of symbol because the salamander is the representation of overcoming obstacles. And when the salamander is eating its tail, it's showing the continuous infinite overcoming of obstacles. It's saying they happen, but you'll always overcome them. It's a very positive omen that you guys will overcome this kind of difficult, rough patch going on. And then over here, the Six of Swords directly talks about overcoming problems that you're dealing with now, that it feels rough at the moment, but it's going to get a whole of a heck lot better, which is great. So we do have some selfishness and some fear of commitment going on, which is a problem and is something that should probably be dealt with. But I normally, this is so interesting. Sorry if I sound rambly in this one. It happens when I'm a little confused in the beginning. Normally, tarot would say, this isn't the person for you, they're not going to change. Or say, this is how you guys can, create this form of longevity and commitment. It's kind of saying nothing. This is more like, hey, keep this in mind, think about this, be aware of this. But it ultimately, in this end, says everything's going to work out and be okay for you guys, even though it seems so weird and mysterious right now. I mean, if I am picking up on this as a very almost elusive sort of reading I can't quite understand, I can't even imagine what it's like for you in the actual situation. So then we have the movement card. This is awesome. This continues actually with the Page of Wands as well. The movement card talks about, well, movement, positive momentum forward. This implies that as you move forward and do things, you can't like stay where you're at right now and you move forward and try something new. This is going to, open doors that were once shut. It's going to start opening up opportunities. And when we talk about movement, this can be anything from actually a physical trip to moving wherever you live from now to somewhere else. This can be the sort of activities like cutting your hair or, changing up your style. It's a general form of you're doing something different and you're using that difference not to just try it out. You're taking on that new approach to life in a more permanent sense to move you out of what's happening right now. Page of Wands actually continues that idea, saying there's you need to show your dedication through commitment by declaring it and trying out this new project and taking it hands-on. So it's almost this like positive suggestion, especially with the Seven of Wands. I almost feel like your partner is on purpose planning this sort of new momentum and movement. I can tell in the Fool card in reverse and the Knight of Wands, they just get kind of bored easily. So this quote-unquote lack of commitment is a feeling they're feeling initially, right? They're scared. They're with somebody for too long. Maybe they really feel a connection to you. I'm not getting currently cup cards to guarantee that, but I'm just saying they feel such a connection to you, it kind of freaks them out that they only want to be with you for a longer period of time. Maybe they're not used to that, right? So they're suddenly like, you know what we need? Let's go try something new. I always like trying new things. Let's go do something together. I don't have to be afraid of this commitment. We can do something that satisfies that, intense energy going on that's kind of causing more fights in the situation. So this is something to look forward to, this new thing. And if your partner hasn't suggested it yet, maybe they're planning something already. I'm kind of getting the vibe they already are. Definitely suggest it to them that let's go do something fun. Let's change up our style. Let's go on a trip, do something that's out of our norm, but in the sense of taking on almost a new identity, if that makes sense. This movement is what's going to kind of shake you guys out of this situation, because the biggest thing I'm picking up on is there's almost just too much energy between the two of you guys. This talks about your chemistry between the two of you, but you guys just have a lot of intense, fiery energy that seems to become too much of a good thing almost. It becomes explosive, and it can start to unnecessarily and unexpectedly cause confrontation when there doesn't need to be. Plus, your partner's trying to like figure out what they want to do compared to their natural, normal belief system. They're changing it up. You're different for them. You're new to them. So this is a lot of positive things coming your way, and some things you should be focusing on and working on towards it as a couple. But yeah, it's a lot of conflicting statements. It's intense to go through. And I'm sorry you're going through this sort of confusion, but ultimately it's going to lead to some good places. So I'm pumped for you guys. So sorry it took me a little bit to understand what was going on. Anyways, if you enjoyed this reading, please consider giving it a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. But either way, have a wonderful day. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And let's get ready for group number 2. Group number 2. Let's look at your love predictions and find out what happens next. First, let's look at your oracle card, which is Goblins upright. This is actually a severely underrated card. I love it. I find it extremely helpful. It's just a really wonderful card. I really love this card. Now let's look at your tarot cards. We have 5 of Pentacles in reverse, 4 of Wands in reverse, 6 of Wands in reverse, 2 of Cups upright, the Emperor in reverse, and your last card is 4 of Cups in reverse. This lighting looks very epic. Okay, I understand most of this reading, but I just need a little more clarification there. Oh, Judgment upright. Okay, Spirit is telling me to pull one more card. Page of Pentacles. Okay, Page of Pentacles is really cute. I can't wait to talk about Page of Pentacles. It's less about a particular meaning and a really fun, cute activity between you and your partner. So, let's talk about Goblins. Goblins is a sort of a metaphor. So just think of it as a fun metaphor. After you experience something that really traumatizes you and hurts you, creates some sort of inner wounds in you, this is when a goblin's created. This goblin is able to mimic your voice, and it's just feeding you over time terrible negative things about yourself. It's putting you down. It's making you unnecessarily worry about like, what if, or will this happen again? And the problem is, because it is able to successfully mimic your voice, you start to think that's your own voice. So the metaphor here is about being aware that the past experience we had, yes, it hurt you. Your feelings are valid. But the bad emotions and negative things you're feeling now are not your true, what you really internally, subconsciously believe. You're being tricked, and you're allowing these memories to create falsified information that you're accidentally putting too much energy and belief in. It's okay that you're experiencing them. This isn't trying to criticize or say anything negative about your inner workings of your mind and how you're healing right now. It's just a kind of a good metaphor to, like, when you hear those thoughts going on, you kind of like talk back to them and say, no, that's not true. I won't believe that. I'm not going to listen to it. It's not real. You know what I mean? You start to fight back with those past experiences and past emotions that really hurt you. So this talks to me about something not being great in the relationship. I can't help but wonder if this is something you both went through. That this is not, especially when I'm seeing over here in the 2 of Cups upright, this is something both of you went through together. So in a weird way, it's bonding. But if you feel internally you're kind of trapped in these sort of thoughts and they're trapped in these sort of thoughts, soon the relationship only becomes you two healing and these negative thoughts surrounding you, and it can kind of cause some sort of friction or just general tension. Maybe not between one another, but it's just an uncomfortable situation for the two of you. It's not fun. And I'm so sorry that the both of you are going through that. But the Five of Pentacles is a wonderful, happy omen. It basically says that there is this opportunity. There's this time period right now that you guys can overcome this obstacle, these past pains, and we know what those previous obstacles were. But you have to do it now. You need to work on it now. You need to not allow this to keep going on and on and on, because soon this is going to kind of become the regular mindset. Soon you will only ever feel and see tension around you and what happened to the both of you. You need to start fighting back now, as we talked about in the Goblins. Now, the Four of Wands kind of continues this mindset. It says, yes, things can get better, continuing that idea, but talking about making an effort. You have to. This is a proactive thing. You can't just sit back and wait for it to get better. The both of you need to actively every day say, we need to work on it. What can we do to make it better? But I will say, this isn't in the cards. This is just something to think about. Well, actually, no, it is a little bit in the cards when I look at the Page of Pentacles, but make sure that healing isn't an all the time thing. So sometimes vocalize, fight back against these thoughts and talk about how they're not logical and you don't want them, and you're letting your internal selves know what you really want to experience and believe and think and feel. But spend some of that time having fun. Have a nice balance as a relationship. But I will also point out in the Four of Wands, it does talk about two people making an effort. Don't let your partner slack, and don't slack yourself. Both people need to continuously make an effort to overcome these things. But this is a really wonderful bonding opportunity coming up. And we'll talk about that more in the Two of Cups upright. Now, the Six of Wands is interesting, because this looks like clearly there has been the mutual mentality that you guys want it to work out. You guys want to overcome this difficult time period. And if you've been wondering at all during this reading in your relationship, oh, do they dislike me? What's going on in the relationship? You're both hurting. This is almost a weird positive thing the two of you can share rather than attack each other. I don't see any attacking. Well, actually, that's a lie. I see a little bit of unintentional attacking. The two of you need to see this as almost a weirdly positive thing to experience together. So Six of Wands talks about the idea of wanting success, and that's your mindset. However, it's also a little bit of a warning. You want to be successful as a couple right now. Do not let your mind see too far into the future, because you can't control the future. You can control right now. So stop thinking, oh, it will be better in the future, or I can't wait for it to be better in the future. I hope it's better in the future. Make the effort right now. Make it be great right now, and that can become your quote-unquote future. So try to pull a little away from, sometimes when we go into the future or the past, we're using it as a distraction because the present is too difficult or painful, or sometimes, we have a variety of reasons of not being in the moment, distracted or whatever. Yours is more rooted by pain, so come back to the present and only focus on the present, and all will be good. Now, the Two of Cups is wonderful. This just talks about how the two of you are really compatible as people. Like, it's kind of a match made in heaven. There's a lot of positivity about the longevity here, which is really great. And just talks about, one of the reasons I love Two of Cups is, I would say there's a multitude in tarot of wonderful, positive love omen type of cards. But in a modern society, in modern day, we don't realize that, and now I'm not trying to project or say this is the stand for everyone. Whatever works for you is what works for you. I'm so happy for you. But I find sometimes love isn't enough. You need love and a partner, somebody who's going to help you in life. The Two of Cups is this. This is someone who, this is a mutual exchange between the two of you of respect, of equal amount of people making an effort in the relationship, and just accomplishing regular activities. This is a lot of positivity in two people just getting along because they work well together as individuals. So this is love and modern day regular activities you're doing together successfully performed. So pretty positive. But here's where a little bit of the hiccup is coming in. And it's just so well intentioned. Your partner seems like they do not mean to. So in the Four of Cups, this talks about everybody getting over this bad mood that you guys have been in. So again, another positive omen that everything's going to be okay in the relationship. But with the Emperor in reverse kind of implying some sort of a control freak type of mentality, and the Four of Cups talking about the potential to kind of freak out unintentionally in an effort to try to get, like, it's almost like it's like, okay, I'm going to try to get out of this bad mood. I'm going to try to be fun and positive, but they're probably so stressed out trying to force it, make it happen. They're not forcing it prematurely. It's good they're making an effort. But this sort of energy that's been building up from what we've talked about over here and the effort being made here can kind of come out in almost a form of like a lashing out sort of experience. Now, this should be sort of discussed, focused on, but the cool thing is this sort of energy being worked out and something you guys are going to work on together. In the Judgment card, I can see this as like a positive test for your relationship. Sometimes the Judgment card is about you're being tested. And sometimes it's about when you as a couple are being tested together. You're on the same team. That's important to remember. You're on the same team. We have that confirmed over here in the Two of Cups. You guys can learn to figure out what it is, if they freak out, try to be objective. Try to slow down and say, listen, I didn't appreciate that, but why did your energy come out that intensely? What was your intention? You know what I'm saying? As you better understand where the other one's coming from and you're able to communicate your energy better, maybe chill out a little bit, heal over time, this is going to be a great bonding time period. This is something where after you overcome this sort of like universal test that you're going through, you're going to feel that much stronger as a couple, which is, who doesn't love that? Now, this is Spirit's adorable little suggestion, like a fun activity you guys can do as a couple. So like I said, don't spend all of your time healing. Divide it amongst some fun. So this is almost a loving token, a present exchange between the two of you. Actually, Christmas is coming up. I mean, it depends on if you celebrate Christmas. Don't worry if you don't celebrate Christmas. Whatever holiday or maybe New Year's, whatever, take this time to talk amongst each other or yourselves and say, hey, let's exchange presents, but this present is going to be special. This present is going to kind of show, it's going to be more than another mug or a boring, like something boring and not thoughtful. This should be a present. It doesn't have to be very expensive, but kind of shows how much and how well I know you and vice versa, them to you. And there shouldn't be this huge pressure on it. You know one another. It's going to be okay. It doesn't have to be the perfect gift, but it's like, it should be fun. It should be saying like, hey, I love you. I know you like nobody else and vice versa. But probably say, especially because you guys are both coming from a pretty intense time period, definitely make it clear between the two of you, there is not this intense pressure. It does not define the relationship. It's okay if it's not the perfect present. It's just a sweet little metaphor or gesture and a fun activity to feel close to each other. But more importantly, the Page of Pentacles talks about a token of investment right now that talks about how, you guys have the intention of longevity together. This says, hey, we're both on the same page. We both want to keep working on this relationship and have a long-term commitment with one another. So let's show that to one another. We're both in that agreement. So this is like gifts given to one another. So this is a really cute, fun activity I think you guys should go into. And I'm pumped for you guys as a couple because overall, bonding, compatibility, overcoming old wounds. How can you not look forward to this? This is a very good month for you. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this reading as much as I did. Consider giving it a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out like you would not believe. Either way, I will see you in the next one, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Let's get ready for group number 3. Group number 3. Let's look at your love predictions and what happens next. Let's look at your cards. Your oracle card is Slow and Steady Upright. Your tarot cards are Page of Pentacles upright, the Emperor in reverse, the Four of Swords in reverse, the Queen of Swords in reverse, the Six of Cups upright, and your last card is the Lovers in reverse. Do not worry about that. Every card has a different meaning depending on the context. But speaking of context, I kind of feel, this isn't vague to me. I understand what's going on here, but I think it's important we have some, understanding of what the motivation is here. And I just need to confirm one last thing over here. So let me pull for that. We have Injustice in reverse, which directly confirms what I was thinking. And yeah, Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yep, and Seven of Pentacles upright. Well, actually, that's a very positive omen, so I'm pumped to talk about that. Let's get into this. This is so interesting. Tarot is really cool because I've had tarot spreads where nearly every single card is positive. And yet there's one or two cards that basically say, no, I'm so sorry, it's not going to work out. And then there's tarot spreads like we're looking at now, where nearly every tarot card implies that it's not good. It's your typical negative cards. Yet, I see positivity. I see things working out. So let's talk about that. Where do I want to start? The Lover's card. This is kind of the overall what's not going great in the relationship and the main thing you want to focus on right now. The Lover's card talks about when the two of you are becoming separated because you're focusing too much on yourselves personally, both of you. So you're focusing too much on yourself and they're focusing too much on their selves. And that's not really a partnership. You know what I mean? It's like accidental divide is the best way to put it. That idea gets continued and repeated over here in the Injustice card in reverse because it talks about a lack of an equal exchange. Think about it. You have to make an effort, show some sort of action to get that equal return back. And the reason why there's a lack of equal exchange is, well, because you're both more focused in taking care of yourself. However, the term selfish is really interesting. Most of the time we view it in a negative way, but being selfish just means you're focusing on yourself. That is not a bad thing. Sometimes we need to focus on ourselves. We need to be selfish in order to heal. But the problem is, if you have two people only focused on themselves, well, over time, it doesn't feel like you're a relationship anymore. And that would be unfortunate, especially if you would like this to work out. So I would definitely suggest when the Justice card pops up, Justice card pops up like this in reverse, have a conversation, which actually we'll talk about over here. Have a conversation with your loved one. Say, listen, I'm going to make breakfast, and why don't you make dinner? Kind of start that little push forward to say, I'm going to show you I care. This is what I would like in return. But then, let them make the effort, because it is about two people both making the effort. They need to try that too. But maybe you can start the conversation, so to speak, or the intention of how you would like the relationship to go forward. Now, the other thing I see going on here is just like, oh my goodness, I don't even know where to start first. So I can see over here in the Four of Swords in reverse, your partner is just beyond exhausted. This would be to the point of almost collapsing or freaking out. I can see the freaking out happening over here. This is potentially you on your end, and this is your partner in the Emperor in reverse. The Emperor, or actually, No, this is them. Okay. The Emperor is them kind of being sort of controlling. They're just freaking out and trying to make everything go the exact way they want it to. Because again, they're so tired, they can't imagine having one thing go wrong and have more work created for them. So they're sort of micromanaging, and it's kind of, you know, entering your world, and that's not really fun. Because the Queen of Swords shows a response of kind of, this would be snipping, really intense little verbal jabs. This would be little comments that kind of put someone down, slow, small, frustrated. But most of this is because you're feeling frustrated that you're going through this. You're feeling frustrated that they're putting you through this. But they're tired. This is the two motivations. They're tired, they're exhausted. And they're exhausted because it looks like they've been denied some sort of job, position. Something didn't go well financially or career-wise, and understandable, they look like they really needed it. I can see by the Seven of Pentacles upright, they've been trying to get this opportunity for a while, and when it fell through, that was a huge disappointment to them. They kind of can't imagine working any harder or any longer. They're going to break. They can't take it anymore, and they're trying to take care of themselves. This goes back to the Lovers. They're trying to take care of themselves in order to get this job, you know, to help you guys as a couple, help themselves, but also then that while you're trying to protect yourself from their energy and what they're going through, you're trying to have a defense mechanism to keep them away from you, so you don't take on more of that stress that they're kind of accidentally leaking over into your area, and you're kind of getting the brunt of, is the best way to put it. But the Seven of Pentacles is a very happy omen you should share with them. This implies that they have been doing the right thing. It might not look like it. There's not a lot of proof in between. It just kind of seems like one day is the same as the next. But they have been doing the right thing. They need to keep doing it for a little longer. Don't change. Just stay the way they are. But it will add up and equal, you know, something, and become that sort of better position, or maybe they'll finally get paid more and then be able to have less hours, so they're, you know, able to finally get that nap they need and feel more like themselves, and then you won't feel attacked anymore. So they should keep doing what they're doing, but unfortunately this is what is kind of happening right now. Now, this is where the positivity kind of comes in, or does come in, not kind of. The Page of Pentacles talks about the two of you getting on the same page, because the discussion you guys are going to have over here is going to be the kind of tone for the relationship moving forward. So you guys need to talk about, hey, listen, we've accidentally allowed this to kind of affect our personal lives and our relationship with one another. This is what I want. This is what you want. Let's both make an effort, even if it's small, even if you don't have a lot of time. There's always something one another can do for each other. And remind one another that you're a team and that there is love here. Don't let the outside materialistic world bring you down. Don't let it consume you. It shouldn't. I'm sure they are working very hard in order to make this relationship and this closeness better. And if you guys aren't currently living together, they're trying to earn more money so one day you can live together. They're trying to earn more money so they can give you nice things, and vice versa, you to them. So definitely have that sort of like talk now for helping the future. But then I have these other positive omens going on. So the Six of Cups talks about how in the future, things are going to get really cute and sweet. In fact, it's advised to kind of focus more of your energy there. This is like the opposite of being really intensely adult and, you know, bedroom activities and stuff like that. This is like cuddling, holding hands, going for a walk and talking about what you're thinking about. Very sweet, innocent sort of courting, if that makes sense. And slow and steady is kind of, can be a little frustrating for some to hear, but it's still a good thing. It implies you guys need to slow down. Obviously, you know that because you've been in the middle of all of this tension, and they have as well. You guys need to slow down a little bit, take a little bit of a break via your own personal selves. But allow this relationship to kind of smooth itself out over time. It's not going to be fixed tomorrow. Take your time, make little gestures as we talked about with the breakfast and dinner, whatever sort of little kind of, the Page of Pentacles directly talks about like presents and little tokens of affection, like physical tokens of affection. Show from day to day little moments that you care about each other. Take it one step at a time. It's going to take a little while, not too long, but it's going to take a little while. Take some more, oh my goodness, the train. Sorry, I'll just finish this really quickly. You get what I'm saying. Tokens, affection, love, it's going to take a while, all good things. Things are going to work out for them. Tell them to take a nap. You get what I'm saying. If this reading was helpful, please let me know. Give a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out like you would not believe. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. I hope you have a wonderful day, and let's get ready for group number 4. Group number 4. Let's look at your love predictions and find out what happens next. Let's look at your cards. Your oracle card is, commitment upright. Well, that's good. That's positive. Let's look at your tarot cards. We have 8 of Pentacles in reverse. 2 of Cups upright, the Devil upright, Queen of Pentacles in reverse, 8 of Pentacles upright. Oh, okay, well that's important. And your last card is the Chariot upright. Very, very, very positive. I kind of already know what's going on, but Spirit's telling me to pull cards here. Or wait, you want here. Okay. Okay, let's see. What do we got? Oh, 4 of Cups in reverse. Okay, that makes sense. That's good. And Knight of Wands reverse. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So, I've got, as you can tell, I have got some great things to share with you. But a little bit of a better understanding of what your partner's going through, what's going on in the relationship, and some things to look forward to working on in a good way. So, let's talk about kind of the main problem in the relationship. Over here, we have the Devil card. And unfortunately, in this particular situation, it looks like they have a tendency to kind of like bring you down right when you're back up. But this is not meant to be manipulative. They're not trying, they don't have any ill intentions for you. Unfortunately, this is mostly done out of insecurity and not feeling grounded. That gets exhibited here and here. The Queen of Pentacles in reverse talks about someone feeling insecure because they feel like what they have to offer just isn't enough. You know, they don't feel they're good enough as a person. And so as you start to do well, they start to, unintentionally, to me, this feels more subconscious, do things that are sabotaging and kind of slowly pull you down. Pretty negative, right? Sorry to say that. That isn't fun to experience. But the Knight of Wands gives a little bit of an explanation of why they feel insecure and then kind of this almost cycle that's going on. So the Knight of Wands in reverse talks about not feeling grounded. This is sort of like really intense, scattered sort of energy. There's no clear direction it's going. It will come out in short bursts. And it seems like they're really excited one moment and then really mad the next. And it's just because they feel like they're unable to stand on their own 2 feet consistently and feel energy-wise consistent. So they feel insecure about what they have to offer. It makes them feel that much more crazy. I don't like to use that term, but we'll just say it for now. We're being silly here. You know what I'm talking about. And then the Devil card upright shows that they then, unfortunately, as a way to feel more stationed, they try to make you feel stationed with them. But unfortunately, as they're trying to find stability, it is actually, in fact, hurting you. Now, that's not cool. Again, not ill-intentioned. They're not trying to be mean, but it's not helpful, and it kind of shows an unhealthy relationship. But get this. The 4 of Cups in reverse shows that they're going to actually overcome this. I can see a huge problem they have in the Eight of Pentacles in reverse is this feeling of perfection, everything being perfect. Their expectations are way too high and they need to chill out. But this experience is temporary and they will overcome this sort of mindset and mood. But here is where all the positive omens start coming in and certain things you should start working on together. The Chariot is awesome. This talks about all this stuff going on here, all this, I'll call it the lack of fun times. You will overcome it as a couple. And it will be something that will be in the past forever, which is great. It's not going to be a reoccurring problem. This talks about you guys winning over it, but it also does talk about that this problem will be solved if you do it together. If you don't just say, don't say to them, hey, go fix it on your own. I'm tired of this. You need to say, what can I do to help and what can you do to make an effort to make it work? How can we figure this out together? Now, the great thing with the Two of Cups being here and the Chariot card is this is a bonding activity. This is something to make you guys feel closer together. As you're working on this and you have this positive omen to look forward to, this is what leads to the Eight of Pentacles. Now, while we did talk about it being in reverse, tarot has multiple meanings. Both of these cards talk about two really positive things. The Two of Cups talks about compatibility, which is really awesome. Ultimately, in the end, despite this dysfunction that's going on right now, you guys are kind of meant for each other. You do secretly work well. So when things aren't going right, you work well together to fix it. That's something important to think about going in the future because arguments and disagreements and happen, and sometimes we accidentally put our emotions on other people, and this is like a sort of something to think about in the future to keep working well together as a couple. But the Eight of Pentacles talks about having one of those awesome conversations that directly refers to commitment. It's kind of getting really specific about like, what do you guys mean together to each other? What are your intentions for the future? What do you want? It's pretty specific. There's nothing kind of left out. It's one of those honest type of conversations where, again, you're working together to build some sort of a relationship in the future. And speaking of a relationship and the future, we have the extremely positive omen of the Commitment Oracle card, which is, well, pretty, it says what it means what it says, commitment. Now, this is the thing. This is a general reading. This is something for a larger audience. And I want to kind of keep that in mind. So I don't want to make any clear promises here. But with the Two of Cups being here and the Commitment card here, I can say this is a very, very, very strong relationship with an extremely long-term date ahead of it. You guys potentially will be together, I don't want to say forever because this is a general reading, but the percentage of that happening is very high. And for many of you, there is a potential, wedding proposal in the future after you guys overcome the situation together. In fact, it is very much the thing that makes your partner be like, wow, they're there for me. We can overcome anything together, and kind of helps them understand this cycle they're going through. We feel for people who are going like that, going through this type of thing. You know what I mean? It's not fun to take the brunt of it, but it's still important to have compassion that, not everyone's problems are easy to understand or easy to fix, but they're still worth understanding and worth fixing, if that makes sense. So you guys will overcome this. Now you have like a better understanding of what they're thinking about. It is temporary. As we have that guarantee over here and over here. Guys are compatible. Have that fun discussion and look forward to a very long time period together. I'm very happy to tell you that. Well, anyways, man, everyone's readings today was so great and positive. This is a very happy love reading month. I'm really excited to do this again next month. Anyways, if you enjoyed this reading, please consider giving it a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. Either way, have a beautiful day. I will see you in the next one. Bye!